What if the secret to success isn't really a secret? What if it's not about big breakthroughs, overnight miracles, or some secret formula shared only with the lucky few? Let's be honest. We've all seen the ads. Make $200,000 a year working just 2 hours a day. Lose 30 pounds in a week, no exercise needed. Look 20 years younger using this one cream. Sounds exciting, right? But here's the truth, none of that works. We live in a world obsessed with instant results. Everywhere you look, someone is selling a shortcut to wealth, health, love, or happiness. But real success, that doesn't come in three easy payments of $39.95. This book, The Compound Effect, cuts through the noise. It brings us back to the basics, the timeless principles that actually work. No hype, no gimmicks, just real, lasting results. So, what is the compound effect? It's the idea that small, consistent actions repeated over time create massive success. Not a week, not in a month, but over time, with discipline, focus, and commitment. Author Darren Hardy isn't just giving you theory, he's lived this. He's tested these principles in his own life and business. For over 20 years, he's studied success, what makes people thrive, and what holds them back. He's worked with top achievers, interviewed the world's best minds, and read thousands of articles and books on personal development. He's not impressed by flashy breakthroughs anymore, because when you've seen enough of the real stuff, you can spot fake success a mile away. As Darren's mentor Jim Rohn once said, there are no new fundamentals. Truth is not new, it's old. This book is about those old truths, the unshakable fundamentals that lead to long term success. And the best part? Anyone can apply them. No special talent, no fancy degree, no perfect background. Just small, smart choices made consistently over time. But here's a warning, success isn't easy. It's slow, repetitive, and yes, sometimes boring. It takes patience, it takes discipline, it takes work. So if you're looking for a quick fix or an easy button, you won't find it here. But if you're ready to take full control of your habits, if you're tired of false promises, if you're serious about changing your life, then this book and the compound effect will change everything. You don't need more information, you need a new plan of action. This is the operator's manual for your success, the system behind everything that works. And once you learn to use it, there's nothing you can't achieve. Let's get started. Chapter 1, The Compound Effect in Action. You've heard the saying, slow and steady wins the race, right? Think about the tortoise and the hare. In that story, I'm the tortoise. Not because I'm the fastest, the smartest, or the most talented. I win because I've built positive habits, and more importantly, I stick with them every single day. That's the power of consistency, and I'm its biggest fan. Most people fail not because they don't start, but because they don't continue. They lack consistency. But I learned it early from my dad. When I was just a baby, my parents split. My dad raised me on his own, and trust me, he wasn't the soft and cuddly type. He was a tough, no excuses football coach, and that discipline shaped my life. Every morning, like clockwork, he'd be out in the garage lifting heavy weights right next to my bedroom. That pounding sound of metal hitting concrete, it was my alarm clock. On the wall, he had a huge sign painted, no pain, no gain. Rain, cold, heat, it didn't matter. He showed up every single day. That consistency taught me something. It's not about motivation. It's about showing up whether you feel like it or not. After school, I had a long list of chores, raking leaves, sweeping, vacuuming, dishes, you name it. And falling behind in school? Not an option. Sick days? Only allowed if you were throwing, bleeding, or, as Dad put it, showing bone. Yep, that actually came from one of his football games. A player asked to come out, and Dad said, "Not unless you're showing bone." The guy pulled back his jersey, his collarbone was sticking out. Only then was he allowed off the field. That was my dad. His philosophy was simple. If you're not naturally gifted, then you outwork everyone else. Not good at free throws? Shoot 1,000 a day until you get it. Bad at dribbling with your left hand? Tie your right hand behind you and practice for hours. Behind in school? Get a tutor and grind until you catch up. No excuses, just work. And the thing is, he walked the talk. From coach to top salesperson to business owner, he climbed every step with pure grit. But he didn't micromanage. He gave us space to figure things out. He believed in personal responsibility. You had to bring the results. Good grades? That meant a reward, like a giant banana split at Pring's, our favorite ice cream spot. Bad grades? No ice cream, no reward. Simple, clear, fair. And let me tell you, that banana split was worth working hard for. I looked up to my dad. I wanted to make him proud and feared letting him down. He didn't lecture me about drugs or peer pressure. He just said, "Be the guy who says no. Don't just follow the crowd. Be the one who stands out." That stuck with me. By the time I was 12, I had a schedule like a corporate executive. Sure, I complained sometimes. What kid doesn't? But secretly, I liked it. It gave me an edge. By 18, I was running a business and making six figures. By 20, I owned a house in a fancy neighborhood. By 24, I was earning over $1 million a year. And by 27, I had built a business worth more than $50 million. All before I turned 40. And my dad, he laughs about it now. He says, "There are a lot of ways to mess up a kid. At least my way worked out pretty well." Yes, I've had to learn how to slow down sometimes, to sit still, to take breaks without a business book in hand. But looking back, I'm grateful because what my dad taught me and what I lived through is the compound effect in action. Those little daily disciplines, they added up. They built everything I have today. But maybe you haven't had that kind of coaching. Maybe no one ever showed you how powerful small, consistent actions can be. That's okay. That's what this book is for. Let's be real. We live in a world full of instant gratification. We're sold on the idea of quick fixes and instant results. Lose weight fast, get rich fast, be happy fast. But it's all a lie. There are no shortcuts to success. We've been tricked by marketing. We've been told success is easy, but the truth? Success takes effort, time, and consistency. In the next chapters, we'll break down the biggest myths and I'll show you exactly how the compound effect works and how it will work for you. Let's dive in. You haven't experienced the payoff yet. Let me tell you something important. The compound effect is all about making small, smart choices consistently over time. That's it. No big moves, no dramatic moments, just small decisions done daily. Sounds too simple? That's where most people go wrong. Here's what makes the compound effect so powerful. It works quietly, silently, invisibly at first. You don't lose 30 pounds in a week. You don't become a millionaire in a month. You don't master a new skill in 5 days. In the beginning, it feels like nothing is happening. You start going for a jog every morning, and after 8 days, you still look the same. You've been practicing piano for 6 months, and all you can play is chopsticks. You've been saving money for 3 years, but your investment account still looks tiny. So, what do most people do? They give up. They say, "This isn't working. It's too slow. It's not worth it." And that's the tragedy, because if they had just kept going, the results would have started to show. Think about it like this: small, smart choices done consistently over time equals radical transformation. It's a simple formula, but don't mistake simple for easy. This is why the compound effect is often ignored. We live in a world of instant everything: instant food, instant entertainment, instant answers. But success, real success, is never instant. It takes patience, faith, and persistence. Here's the truth: the steps you take might feel small, they might seem boring, they might even look pointless at first, but stacked up over time, those steps will change your life. The compound effect is like planting seeds. At first, the soil looks the same. Days go by, weeks even, with no visible change. But under the surface, something is happening. Keep watering, keep showing up, and one day you'll see growth. And soon after that, the harvest will blow your mind. So don't be fooled by what you can't see yet. Keep taking those steps. Keep showing up, because the payoff is coming, and it's going to be massive. Let's look at some examples of how this plays out in real life. The magic penny. Imagine this: someone offers you two choices. Option one: take $3 million in cash right now. Option two: take just one penny, but it will double in value every day for the next 31 days. Which would you pick? Most people would grab the $3 million in a heartbeat. I mean, it's sitting right there. Instant money, no wait, no risk. But here's the twist: that tiny penny, if it doubles every day for 31 days, it'll be worth over $10 million by the end. Sounds impossible, right? Let's break it down. Day 1 to day 10, you chose the penny and takes the $3 million. After day 5, you've got 16 cents. Meanwhile, your friend is probably shopping for a new car. By day 10, you've made it to just $5.12. Your friend, still sitting on that huge $3 million. You're starting to wonder, did I make a mistake? Day 20, now you're 20 days in, only 11 days left. Your penny is finally over $5,000. Not bad, but still a long way from $3. Your friend, still living large. You, still waiting, watching, wondering if this is ever going to work. But then something starts to happen. The magic of compound growth begins to reveal itself. Day 29, your penny has now turned into $2.7 million. Your friend still has the original $3 million. You're almost there. But it's day 30 when everything changes. Now, your doubled penny is worth $5.3 million. And by day 31, that tiny penny explodes into a fortune of $10,737,418.24. You didn't just catch up, you completely blew past the $3 million. And that, my friend, is the power of the compound effect. The growth doesn't look exciting at first. In fact, it looks boring. Tiny progress, tiny results. But over time, it multiplies, it builds, and one day it takes off like a rocket. This is exactly how success works in real life. You eat healthy for a week, nothing changes. You read every night for a month, no transformation. You save a few dollars a day, no wealth. So you stop, you give up, and you miss out on the magic. But if you stay consistent, if you keep stacking the right habits,
One day, the results will seem unbelievable to everyone watching. So remember this formula: small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals radical transformation. The penny isn't magic, the compound effect is. The story of three friends. Let me tell you a story about three ordinary guys. They all grew up together, live in the same neighborhood, make about $50,000 a year. Each one is married. Each one has average health and a little bit of that post marriage belly. Meet Larry, Scott, and Brad. Larry. Larry keeps living life as he always has. No major changes, no new habits. He's fine, but deep down, he wonders why nothing ever seems to improve. Scott. Scott decides to make some small, positive changes. He starts reading 10 pages a day of a good book. He listens to 30 minutes of self improvement audio during his commute. And after reading an article by Dr. Oz, he decides to cut just 125 calories from his diet every day. That's as simple as skipping one soda or switching from mayo to mustard. He also walks a bit more, just a few extra steps a day. Drastic, no big effort, but he's consistent. Brad, on the other hand, makes a few not so great choices. He buys a new big screen TV to binge his favorite shows. He's been cooking more, especially those cheesy, creamy recipes from the Food Channel. He even installs a bar at home and adds one extra drink a week to his routine. It's nothing extreme, just a little more indulgence, a little more comfort. Fast forward 5 months. Guess what? There's no noticeable difference between them. They all look the same, feel the same. Life seems unchanged. 10 months later, still no major difference. Scott's still reading, Brad's still relaxing, doing what he's always done. 18 months in, now we're starting to notice small changes. Just barely. By month 25, the changes are clear. Scott looks fitter, more energetic. Brad is gaining weight, looking sluggish. And Larry is, well, still stuck. Month 27, now the difference is obvious. And by month 31, the results are stunning. Brad has gained 33.5 pounds. Scott has lost 33.5 pounds. That's a 67-pound swing between the two. Let's do the math. 125 extra or fewer calories a day times 940 days is equal to 117,500 total calorie difference. 117,500 calories divided by 3,500 calories per pound is 33.5 pounds. Same time, same kind of people, but completely different outcomes. But it's not just about weight. Scott has read nearly 1,000 hours of books and listened to inspiring audio every day. He's applying what he learned. He's earned a promotion, got a raise, and his marriage is thriving. Brad, he's unhappy at work. His marriage is struggling, and he can't figure out what went wrong. And Larry, well, he's still the same, just a little more frustrated that life hasn't changed. The point is this: the compound effect is real. It works for you or against you. Small, smart choices made consistently over time create a massive difference. At first, it looks like nothing is happening, but one day, boom, it seems like someone became an overnight success. But that success, it's not overnight. It's the result of hundreds of quiet, invisible wins. So ask yourself, which friend do you want to be? Brad, who lets life slip away with small, poor choices? Larry, who stays stuck in place? Or Scott, who commits to tiny improvements and ends up transforming his life? The compound effect is always working. The only question is, are you using it to build your life or letting it break you down?
How one muffin changed everything. The story you just heard about the three friends might have seemed a little dramatic, but the truth is, it goes even deeper than that. Because the compound effect doesn't just change what's visible, it starts to shape everything beneath the surface too, like a small drop in water that sends ripples across an entire lake. Let's look closer at one small decision. Meet Brad again. One day, Brad decides to try out a muffin recipe he saw on the Food Channel. He bakes it. It turns out great. His family loves it. He feels proud. It seems innocent, even heartwarming. So he bakes again, and again. Sweets become a more regular part of his routine. He's loving his own cooking and eating more than his share. Not enough to raise eyebrows, but enough to tip the scales. What happens next? At night, Brad feels sluggish. He doesn't sleep well. He wakes up feeling groggy. That makes him cranky, and his mood starts affecting his work performance. He's now a little less productive, which leads to a few disappointing comments from his boss. That discouragement carries over, and now Brad starts disliking his job. The drive home feels longer, the stress feels heavier, and so he reaches for comfort food again to unwind. The cycle begins. Once upon a time, Brad would take evening walks with his wife, but now he just doesn't feel like it. Low energy, no motivation. So the walks stop. Their conversations become shorter, their connection weaker. His wife misses their time together. She wonders what's changed. And since Brad's no longer getting fresh air, he's not getting those endorphin boosts that kept his mood in balance. He feels low, unhappy, and it spreads. Brad starts noticing flaws in himself and in others. He doesn't compliment his wife anymore. He feels a little out of shape, a little less confident, a little less romantic. Late at night, he turns on the TV, not for entertainment, but for escape. His wife begins to feel lonely. She tries to talk to him, she complains, but Brad feels like she's just nagging. She becomes needy, then distant. She pours her energy into her work, spends more time with friends. Men begin to notice her, flirt with her. She doesn't cheat, but she feels seen again. Brad can feel something's off, but instead of looking inward, he blames her. He's confused, frustrated. He doesn't realize that it all started with that small muffin habit and how it snowballed into something so much bigger. Meanwhile, his friend Scott, the one reading 10 pages a day, he's thriving. He feels energized, focused, connected. Noted. He's more present at home. His relationship is flourishing. Not because he made one giant leap, but because he repeated simple daily disciplines consistently. That's what Jeff Olson,
author of The Slight Edge, calls simple disciplines versus simple errors in judgment. Every day we're making a choice, and the compound effect never stops working. The results are predictable, they're measurable, they're guaranteed if you stay the course. And that's the good news. You don't need to wait for some giant breakthrough or summon a dramatic burst of motivation. You don't need to perform a grand, heroic act. All you need is to take tiny steps, repeat them consistently, and give them time. That's all. Target? The truth is, we've been conditioned to believe in flashy, all or nothing transformations. Society praises big wins, not slow progress. But that mindset leaves people burned out, disappointed, and stuck. Instead, choose the quieter, smarter path. Choose the one that compounds. In the book, there's a chart, figure 1, that shows two lines. At first, both are almost flat. No change, no result. But slowly, one line starts to curve upward, the other downward. The gap between them grows and grows and explodes over time. That's the compound effect. It starts with tiny, invisible choices, but eventually it creates massive, visible results. So, let me ask you this. Are you planting seeds for success or sowing the slow downfall of your own potential? Remember, one muffin didn't ruin Brad's life, but his daily choices did. Just like one salad didn't transform Scott, but his daily habits built a new life. The compound effect is always running in the background. It's not a matter of if it works, it's a matter of how you use it. Make it your ally and let it carry you toward the life you want, one small choice at a time.
Why success often fails and how to avoid it. Let's face it, the hardest part of the compound effect isn't understanding it, it's sticking with it, day in, day out, before we can finally see the payoff. Because the truth? The rewards don't show up overnight, they show up slowly, quietly, then all at once. Our grandparents understood this. They didn't need TV infomercials promising six-pack abs in 30 days, or some guru selling real estate riches in just 6 months. No, they got up early, worked hard, 6 days a week, from sunup to sundown. They didn't chase shortcuts. They lived by something we've almost forgotten today: hard work, discipline, consistent habits. That was their secret formula. Not flashy, not trendy, just solid, honest effort over time. But here's the thing: success doesn't always last forever. Wealth, prosperity, even strong values, they tend to skip generations. Why? Because abundance can be complacency. The next generation grows up surrounded by success, but they didn't earn it. They didn't fight for it. They didn't sacrifice or struggle to build it. And so they don't always know how to value it. Think about it. Children of royalty, movie stars, corporate heirs, they often grow up entitled, not earned, surrounded by luxury but lacking grit, because they didn't develop the habits that built the empire, they just inherited the spoils. And it's not just the rich. This mindset shows up everywhere. We see it in regular families, in adults who once worked hard but now take shortcuts. In a society that's grown addicted to comfort, we've become soft, mentally, emotionally, and physically. As a culture, we've lost our connection to what it really takes to succeed. Words like grit, fortitude, and resilience aren't glamorous anymore. They're old fashioned, boring, uncool. And yet, those are the exact traits that built every lasting legacy in history. It was the grind that shaped our ancestors, the struggle that chiseled their character, the discipline that made them unshakable. But here's the pattern we often ignore: nothing fails quite like success. Yes, you heard that right. Success, left unchecked, often leads to failure. Why? Because once people get comfortable, they stop doing the things that got them there. Just like the great empires of history: Egypt, Greece, Rome, Spain, France, England. They didn't fall because of enemies, they fell because of complacency. They stopped striving, they stopped growing, they got lazy and crumbled from within. It's like the story of the boiling frog. If you drop a frog into boiling water, it'll jump out immediately. But if you place it in cool water and gradually heat it, it'll stay there, comfortable, until it's too late. That's what happens with success. We get used to the warmth and we don't realize the heat is rising until we're cooked. So, what's the solution? It's simple, but not easy. We need to reclaim the work ethic our grandparents had. We need to restore our discipline, our character, and our will to do what's hard, not just for the country, but for your own life. Don't fall for the magic pill mindset. You can wait on the couch for your dreams to manifest or chant all the affirmations in the world. But success isn't a genie you summon, it's a craft you build, one brick at a time. Let me tell you a quick story. A beautiful restaurant opened up by the beach in San Diego. It had everything going for it. The space was spotless, the hostess had a warm, genuine smile, the service was top notch, and the food? Absolutely phenomenal. People lined up, waiting more than an hour to get a table. Business was booming. But then something changed. Slowly, the team began taking success for granted. The hostess became cold and arrogant. The waitstaff looked messy and uninterested. The food? Sometimes good, sometimes disappointing. The magic that once set them apart was gone. Not all at once, but piece by piece. 18 months later, they were out of business. Not because the food wasn't good enough, but because they stopped doing the things that made them successful in the first place. Their success blinded them, and it led to their downfall. So here's the truth loud and clear: you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. Success is not about the big wins, it's about the small disciplines repeated over time without fail. The compound effect doesn't reward talent or luck, it rewards persistence. It rewards those who keep going long after the excitement fades. So, are you willing to show up, even when no one is watching, even when it's boring, even when the results are invisible? Because that's the real test. And if you can pass it, success won't just come your way, it'll stay. Let go of instant gratification and embrace the real path to success. Let's talk about something that's holding so many of us back: a mindset that's quietly ruining our potential: the microwave mentality. We live in a world where everything is instant: fast food, 1 hour glasses, 30-minute photo processing, overnight shipping, instant texts, microwave meals, even microwave eggs. We're surrounded by speed, and slowly we've started to expect our success to come that way too. But here's the truth: success does not work on a microwave setting. It's not fast, it's not easy, and it's definitely not instant. Real success is slow, it's boring, it's built one small step at a time. When you truly understand the compound effect, you start to lose those insta result expectations. You stop waiting for miracles. You stop hoping for shortcuts. You stop falling for overnight success stories because you finally get it. Success is not about one big win. It's about 1,000 small wins, quietly compounding over time. Excellent. Let's talk about the lottery. You see someone on TV screaming with joy, holding a giant check. Everyone celebrates that moment. But what you don't see? The millions of people who lost. Harvard psychologist Daniel Gilbert once said something eye opening. If every person who lost the lottery got 30 seconds of airtime to say, I lost, it would take 9 years to get through the losers of a single drawing. 9 years. Yet we keep chasing that one in a million fantasy. It's time to let that go. Promise yourself this: no more lottery thinking, no more get rich quick schemes, no more thin thighs in 30 days. It's all noise because deep down you know every successful athlete, every top performer, every master of their craft got there through relentless repetition. They showed up early, they stayed late, they trained while others rested, they failed, they got frustrated, they felt lonely and tired, but they kept going. That's the truth you need to accept. Behind every great story is a grind you don't see. So here's what I want for you. By the end of this book, or maybe even right now, I want you to feel it in your. The only real path to success is through a consistent series of mundane, unsexy, repetitive disciplines. It's not glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy, but it works. And if you stick with it, the life of your dreams, yes, your fairy tale ending, can absolutely be yours. The compound effect is always working, always. Right now, as you're listening to this, it's either working for you or against you. Your habits, your thoughts, your actions, they're all building momentum in a direction. The question is, which direction? Because it doesn't matter where you are on the curve, you can start today. You can make simple, positive changes, and you can steer the trajectory of your life upward. You're not stuck. You're not too late. All it takes is a decision. Start doing the right small things daily and let time do the rest. So, have I made my point? Let go of the microwave mentality. Forget the shortcuts. Forget the instant fixes. Because your future success won't be the result of some magical overnight breakthrough. It will come from your daily choices, repeated again and again. In the next chapter, we're going deeper. We'll uncover the one thing that controls your entire life. Yes, everything you have or don't have, every victory or defeat, every win or failure, it all begins with this one force. Learn how to master this, and you'll unlock the power to change your life completely. Let's find out what it is together. Chapter 2: Choices. We all come into this world the same way: naked, scared, and clueless. None of us arrive with a manual. We all start with a clean slate. But from that moment on, the life we build, the success we achieve, the struggles we face, all come down to one simple thing: the choices we make. Yes, choices. Every choice you make becomes a brick in the foundation of your life. These choices can be your best friend, paving the way to your goals, or they can be your worst enemy, steering you far away from the life you desire. Think about it. Everything you have in your life right now, your job, your relationships, your health, your habits, it all exists because of a choice you made at some point. Choices are at the root of every single result in your life. And here's the key: Every choice you make starts a behavior. That behavior, when repeated, becomes a habit. Over time, your habits shape your destiny. If you choose poorly, life will nudge you back to the drawing board. You'll be forced to make new, often tougher choices. And if you avoid choosing altogether, you've still made a choice. The choice to be passive, to let life happen to you rather than taking charge. You see, you make your choices, but then your choices make you. Every single decision, no matter how small, alters the course of your life. Whether it's deciding to go to college or not, choosing who you marry, whether you take that last for driving, whether you join in gossip or stay silent, even deciding to say, I love you, or to stay quiet. All these small choices create a ripple effect that compounds over time, shaping your future in ways you can't even imagine in the moment. That's the compound effect in action. This is about becoming aware of your choices. It's about making choices that expand your life, not limit it. It might sound complicated, but trust me, you'll be surprised at how simple it really is. From this point forward, you'll stop making 99% of your choices unconsciously. No longer will your routines and daily behaviors be automatic reactions based on old habits and societal programming. You'll start asking yourself powerful questions. How many of my behaviors have I never consciously voted on? What am I doing every day that I didn't intentionally choose to do? And more importantly, why do I continue to do them? By using the same simple strategies I've applied in my own life, strengthened by the unstoppable compound effect, you'll start to loosen the grip of those invisible habits that are pulling you off course. You'll learn how to hit the pause button, giving yourself a moment to stop before you make a choice that leads you into idiot territory. You'll find that making smart choices becomes easier. You'll develop behaviors and habits that support your goals, not sabotage them. Now, here's something important. Your biggest challenge isn't that you've been making bad choices on purpose. Oh no, that would be easy to fix. If we knowingly made bad decisions, we could simply stop. The real problem is that you've been sleepwalking through your choices. Half the time, you're not even aware you're making them. It's not that you lack intelligence, it's not that you're lazy. The truth is, many of your choices are invisible to you because they are so deeply woven into your routines, habits, culture, and upbringing. You're following patterns that have been programmed into you over years, often without question. Let me ask you, have you ever been going about your day, enjoying life, when suddenly you make a stupid choice, or maybe a series of small, seemingly harmless choices that ultimately derail your progress? You didn't plan to sabotage yourself, but because you weren't actively thinking about your decisions, because you didn't pause to weigh the risks or the outcomes, you found yourself facing unintended consequences. Nobody wakes up and says, today I'm going to become overweight. No one sets a goal to go bankrupt. No one dreams of getting a divorce. But these outcomes often happen not because of one huge mistake, but because of a series of small, poor choices. Choices made without awareness. One extra slice of pizza here, skipping a workout there. Over time, these tiny choices compound into significant consequences. This chapter is your wake up call. It's about taking ownership of your choices. You need to understand that every choice matters. You need to become intentional, deliberate, and mindful of the decisions you make, no matter how small they seem. Because over time, the compound effect doesn't miss a single choice. It applies everything. The good news?
You can change the direction of your life by making simple, better choices consistently. You don't have to overhaul your entire life in one day. You just need to start choosing wisely, moment by moment. And here's the secret: when you become aware of your choices, you gain power, the power to direct your life intentionally instead of letting life happen to you. So, as you move forward from here, I want you to remember one thing: you are the sum total of your choices. The life you are living today is the result of choices you made in the past. And the life you will be living tomorrow depends on the choices you make today. Choose consciously, choose wisely, because once you make a choice, that choice starts making you.
Elephants don't bite, but mosquitoes do. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been bitten by an elephant? No, but I bet you've been bitten by a mosquito, haven't you? It's always the small things that bite us. We often imagine that it's the massive, catastrophic mistakes that ruin people's careers, relationships, or lives. And yes, sometimes we do see those dramatic collapses. A comedian's career shattered in seconds because of a careless, offensive rant. A celebrity once adored for their humanitarian work, caught in a drunken scandal saying things they can never take back. Or even an admired athlete suddenly lashing out at an official in a fit of rage. These moments are loud, they grab headlines, they're unforgettable. But here's the truth: for most of us, it's not the elephants that destroy our progress. It's not these extraordinary, massive mistakes that are the problem. No. For people like you and me, it's the small, frequent, seemingly insignificant choices that slowly, almost invisibly, derail our success. I'm talking about the little decisions, the ones you think don't matter at all. It's the small, invisible habits that quietly pile up, unnoticed, and take you far off course. Sometimes these choices are obvious bad moves, careless and boneheaded. Sometimes they appear harmless, like small indulgences. And sometimes they even look like positive choices on the surface. But don't be fooled. These seemingly minor decisions can completely throw you off track simply because you're not mindful of them. You're on autopilot, not paying attention. And when you're not aware, the compound effect is still working, but it's working against you. You're still compounding, but in the wrong direction. Let me give you a few examples. You decide to grab a soda and a bag of chips. You're not really hungry, you're just bored. Before you know it, you've polished off the entire bag. And just like that, you've thrown away an entire day of healthy eating. But it was just a small choice, right? Another day, you sit down to relax and start watching TV. You tell yourself it's just for a few minutes. Maybe it's even an educational documentary, so it feels productive. But 2 hours pass, and suddenly you realize you've run out of time to prepare for tomorrow's big presentation, the one that could land you a valuable client. Another, in a casual conversation with a loved one, you blurt out a small, unnecessary lie, a knee jerk reaction. The truth would have been easier, but you said the lie anyway. Why? You don't even know. What's going on here? It's simple. You've allowed yourself to make choices without thinking. And as long as you're making unconscious choices, you have no control over the outcomes. You can't correct behaviors you're not even aware of. You can't build productive habits if you're sleepwalking through your decisions. This is where the compound effect becomes dangerous. Because remember, the compound effect always works, it never stops. The only question is it working for you or against you? It's time to wake up. It's time to become mindful of your small, everyday choices. Because it's not the elephants that will destroy your goals,
It's the tiny mosquitoes, those small, seemingly harmless decisions that you allow to slip through unchecked. When you become aware of these choices, you can take back control. You can pause. You can choose consciously. And you can turn ineffective behaviors into powerful, productive habits. It's never about doing one big thing right. Success is built on doing small things right, consistently, over time. So from today onwards, watch out for the mosquitoes. Thanksgiving year round, the power of gratitude in relationships. It's easy to point fingers at others, isn't it? My boss is the reason I'm not getting ahead. I missed that promotion because of a backstabbing coworker. I'm always in a bad mood because my kids drive me crazy. We all do it. Blaming others for our problems is a natural reflex, especially in relationships, romantic ones in particular. It's always the other person who needs to change, right? Wrong. A few years ago, a friend of mine was stuck in this exact mindset. He would complain endlessly about his wife. According to him, she was the source of his unhappiness. But from where I stood, his wife was a wonderful woman. Honestly, I thought he was lucky to have her. Yet, no matter what I said, he kept pointing out her flaws, blaming her for everything wrong in his life. That's when I decided to share with him an experience that had transformed my own marriage. One Thanksgiving, I made a decision. I decided to keep a Thanksgiving journal for my wife. Every single day for an entire year, I wrote down at least one thing I appreciated about her. It could be something simple, the way she laughed with her friends, how she cared for our dogs, the way she made our bed, a delicious meal she cooked, or even how beautifully she styled her hair. No matter how small, I wrote it down. I started noticing things I had previously overlooked: the small acts of kindness, the subtle gestures of love, the unique qualities that made her who she was. Day by day, entry by entry, I filled up that journal. For a whole year, I focused on what she was doing right. The following Thanksgiving, I gave her that journal as a gift. She cried. She told me it was the best gift she had ever received, better than the BMW I'd given her for her birthday. But here's the truth: the person most affected by this journal wasn't her, it was me. You see, by choosing to focus on my wife's positive qualities every single day, my perspective began to shift. I started seeing her through a lens of gratitude and appreciation. I wasn't focusing on what annoyed me. I was consciously looking for reasons to be grateful. And something incredible happened. All the small things that used to bother me began to fade away. They became insignificant compared to the ocean of positive traits I was discovering. I fell in love with her all over again, not because she changed, because I changed how I looked at her. My attitude towards her became softer, kinder, more appreciative, and naturally, she responded to me in a more loving way. This created a positive cycle. The more I appreciated her, the better I treated her. The better I treated her, the more loved she felt, and the more loved she felt, the more she responded with kindness and affection. This cycle compounded over time, and that year turned out to be one of the best years of our marriage. After hearing my story, my friend, who had been stuck in a loop of blame, decided to try it too. He started his own Thanksgiving journal for his wife. At first, it was hard for him. His habit of focusing on her flaws was strong, but slowly, as he forced himself to look for her good qualities, things started to shift. Within a few months, his entire perspective changed. He began interacting with his wife differently. He was more patient, more affectionate, more understanding. And guess what? She started responding to him in a new way. The way he chose to see her changed their entire relationship. The old cycle of blame and criticism was replaced by a new positive feedback loop of appreciation and love. The compound effect was in full force, but this time it was compounding in their favor. All of this started from a simple daily act
that took 5 minutes. 5 minutes of intentional gratitude. 5 minutes of consciously choosing to focus on what's right instead of what's wrong. So here's the takeaway. If you want to transform any relationship in your life, be it with your spouse, your children, your friends, or even your coworkers, stop waiting for them to change. Start by changing how you see them. Choose to look for what they're doing right. Choose to appreciate them daily, because what you focus on expands. When you choose gratitude, you invite more reasons to be grateful. It's not a one-time event. It's a daily practice. That's how you create Thanksgiving year-round.
Owning 100%. The power of taking full responsibility. Here's a simple truth. We are all self-made, but only successful people are willing to admit it. When life goes well, they take credit for it. When life goes wrong, they take responsibility for it too. I was just 18 years old when I first learned about personal responsibility. I attended a seminar that completely changed the way I saw my life. The speaker asked a simple question. What percentage of responsibility do you have in making a relationship work? Being young and full of wisdom, I quickly answered 50-50. Both people must do their part. Others in the room chimed in 51-49. You have to be willing to give a little more than the other person. 80-20. Real love means sacrifice. But then the instructor turned to a large paper and wrote 100, 0. He said, you have to be willing to give 100% with zero expectation of receiving anything in return. That hit me hard because it meant this. Only when you take 100% responsibility for making a relationship work will it work. If you leave it to chance, blaming the other person, or waiting for them to change, it will always be unstable. But this idea wasn't just about relationships. It applied to everything in life. If I chose to take 100% responsibility for my choices, my actions, and even how I responded to what happened to me, I would hold the power. Everything would be up to me. No more blaming the economy, my boss, the weather, my upbringing, or any other excuse. Now, I know most people think they already take responsibility for their lives, but look closely. Have you ever blamed traffic for being late? Or said you're in a bad mood because of something your spouse or coworker did? Maybe you said, I couldn't finish the work because the printer was slow. Or I'm stressed because my teenager is being unreasonable. In all these situations, you're handing over your power. You're saying your life is controlled by others, by circumstances. But here's the truth. You were late? Maybe you should have left earlier. The printer was busy? Shouldn't you have printed it sooner? The presentation got messed up. Did you double check it? Your teen is difficult? There are tons of books and resources to help you improve how you handle it. You are 100% responsible for everything you do, don't do, or how you react to what happens to you. This mindset will change your life. It changed mine. I realized that success isn't about luck or the perfect situation or waiting for someone else to fix things. If it's going to be, it's up to me. No matter who's in charge of the country, no matter what's happening in the economy, no matter what someone else says or does, I am in control of me. When you choose to give up the habit of blaming, when you stop waiting for someone else to fix things, when you take 100% ownership of your life,
you become free. You hold the power to change your destiny. And that's the ultimate jackpot.
Getting lucky. The truth about luck